Hello, everybody. Welcome to Change the Shed. Today is April 9, 2025. We are getting spring around here. I'm glad you're all here. I'm sure you're here from all over the world. It's wonderful to see you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm working on the It's Fine piece again. So it should be fun. I think we might get to some double set today, so some 16 EPI. It looks like Leslie's here from Calgary, reorganizing her hobby room, which looks like a war zone at the moment. Leslie, I am with you on this. My studio, you cannot see it right here, but oh my gosh, it has lost its mind in the last week or so. Marlene is here from Iceland. She's doing a residency in Blöndos, which is where I did a residency in 2022. So that's exciting, Marlena. I'm curious whether you've seen the Northern Lights or not. Sybil's here from Switzerland. Welcome, Sybil. Sharon's here. Sally from Wisconsin. Nancy from Baltimore. Dave from the UK. Hilly's here from the Netherlands. Julia from Germany. Barbara says, don't all craft rooms, offices look lived in? I think it depends on your personality. I have seen some that don't, but mine definitely does. Paula's here from Vermont. Barbara from San Diego, picking colors for a new piece. Yes, looking forward to more color study in Tapestry Discovery Box 10. That's part of why my studio is such a mess, because I have been wrapping up the final pieces of the next Tapestry Discovery Box, which is about color harmony. So I'm hoping that a bunch of you will join me for that. It starts, just starts adding people to the class on the 16th, or I do. Anyway, they ship your boxes on the 15th, and about the time your box gets to you, a box of yarn, you will get into the class. Jessica's here from Southern Illinois, deciding what color to paint the outside of her studio. That's good. Anne from Maryland. Yeah, Sally is giving me a plug for the residency that I have here. We were talking about artist residencies, the one that Marlene is doing in Iceland. And I think Marlena knows about the one that I have here as well. Sally has been here, and we actually have an opening starting like the last day of May. So anybody who's interested, you can find that on my website under Fortnite. It's 2 weeks in the most beautiful place, where you get your own studio and your own house, and you can work away at whatever you want for 2 weeks. Karen's here from Massachusetts. Corrine from the UK. Janice from Portland. Loan's here from Denmark. Margaret from Glasgow. Margaret got the new stand and treadle for her Arras, her Shack de Ross. Woohoo! That's exciting. That's what I'm working on right now. And so far, I really love the treadle assembly. So Helen's here from Vermont. Bronwyn from Vancouver. Canada's in the house. Thank you, Canada. Marlena said she did see the Northern Lights, but it's been overcast now. So when I was in Iceland, we saw the Northern Lights twice. It's dicey in April, but I'm glad you saw them, Marlena. It's sometime I'm going to go in the middle of the winter, and January when it's dark. Cheryl from Maryland. Gundrun's also here from Iceland. Welcome. Only she lives in Iceland. What a beautiful place it is. Stephanie is here from France. Hooray. Thank you all for coming. I'm sure more people will tuck in here in a minute. I have just a couple things to tell you. The next Change the Shed will be on April 30. That is 3 weeks from now. I have a couple things where on Wednesdays I will be places where the internet access is poor, and if you've tried to join any of my Change the Sheds where I was somewhere else with poor internet, you'll know that it is not a good bet. So we'll wait till I'm back here April 30th. And I will have stories. So that will be fun. Patreon, thank you to those of you who've joined my Patreon. That is what I have started. Here's the little doohickey thing. If you go to tapestryweaving.com and look on the navigation bar for Patreon, you can find out more. Thank you for supporting. This program would have gone away if it weren't for all of you on Patreon. So thank you. I'm also grateful to those of you at the higher tiers who are supporting actually some of my personal work. So there's been some videos in the last few weeks about what I'm working on my big looms, and I hope you're enjoying those. Summer Tapestry opens in May. Actually, registration is open now. Please join me for this is the best class. I'm so biased, but I love Summer of Tapestry. And it'll be starting, the warm-up prompt drops in the middle of May. It's a brand new one. And then the very end of May, we'll start with our 4 prompts. Prompts are just suggestions of what to weave. 2 weeks each for them. So the whole program is about 10 weeks long. And you can do it later too if you're busy. And then Tapestry Discovery Box, the Color Harmony box, comes out next week. So those 2 things go together really well, Summer of Tapestry and the color stuff from Tapestry Discovery Box. And one other thing, which I wouldn't usually mention something like this, but it fits into what I just said about Summer of Tapestry and Tapestry Discovery Box, which people generally do on smaller looms. Especially Summer Tapestry if you are going to be traveling or weaving somewhere besides your studio. Mirex is having a big sale on Chloe looms. So if you've wanted a Chloe, it's a pretty big sale. I don't get any money for mentioning that. I'm just saying if you've been looking for one, they're a bit pricey. This is a good time to get it on sale between now and Sunday. All right. Christine's here from Ottawa and Paula from the UK. And Nancy says she can't wait for Summer of Tapestry 2025. Me either, Nancy. It's so warm today already, and I'm just ready for some adventures outside with my loom. So you don't have to go outside to do Summer of Tapestry. Some of you live in places where I would not go outside in the summer. But there's inspiration everywhere. So let's look at this crazy piece I'm working on. It's called It's Fine. And let's see. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and as I go along through the days watching the news, there are moments where I'm not sure about continuing, but we're going to keep going. Here's a look at the cartoon. And I am working on, it's woven sideways from the right. So what you're going to see today is the pants going in, and I've changed the colors. If you're on Patreon, you probably saw those videos about all my mutterings about what colors I'm going to use. Thank you, those of you on the last Change the Shed with your suggestions. Great suggestions. We'll see. I'm going to go with these colors and we'll see what happens, but I definitely took the suggestions of those of you who were on Change the Shed 2 weeks ago. So thank you for all of that. We're going to be working on this pant leg. Excuse me. This pant leg today, probably a little bit of 16 EPI. I don't know that I'll get to this hiking boot, which is the most complicated part of the tapestry, but we'll see. Let's do it. So here we are. You can see probably this cartoon is confusing behind there. So I'm going to put this in. You can see I decided a bright color for the pants. And then here is the cuff. And I'm going to do that with 16 EPI. So let's see if we can fill this in and a little bit of this brown and put in the cuff. I think maybe it was Sally who suggested that I go with browns for the background instead of green, and I am liking this so much better. So thank you, Sally. And then the mountains here are going to, we're starting to put those in. So they contrast with the pants. I think everything is going to look pretty. I think you'll be able to see what I'm doing anyway. We'll see. Oh, Sally is asking if I made a decision about offering a fall of tapestry class. So I have been thinking about that, Sally. I don't have a final decision. It will not be the same thing. So I will not be doing Summer of Tapestry again in the fall, which was actually what I was talking about doing. So if you want to do Summer of Tapestry, jump in now. I won't be doing it live in the fall. I mean, you could join the class in the fall. You can do the class anytime, you get it forever, but I won't be doing like a whole new class in the fall. I just don't have I don't have enough life in me to do that, but I do have an idea for a smaller other idea for the fall. So stick with me, Sally, keep asking. We'll see if that comes about. I don't have any promises yet, but I like the idea. And so I do have an idea about that. It will be totally different from Summer of Tapestry, but you did give me sort of the incentive to think about that more. All right, see if you can see that. Yeah, I'm filling in up to this little form right there is where I'm going to start the 16 EPI in the pants for the first time on this tapestry. I've been playing with where the camera is, and it's still, you know, it's never perfect. Where I really want the camera is right here so you can see what I'm seeing, but then you would all be sick from it moving all the time. So it's right over my head at the moment instead of to the side. I don't know which is preferable, but that gives you sort of a weird angle. So I don't know. There's no perfect answer, I don't think. I think the people who do cooking shows are wearing their cameras, or there's a cameraman right behind their shoulder. I don't have a camera person, so. All right, I'm just filling in this, and I'm hatching. These are two different colors. I've got, and this will be another brown up higher once this all comes together. Trying to remind myself. Yeah, there's a fairly large section right here of sort of plain colors where these will just be hatched together. So just trying to build this up so I can put in that cuff. All right, I've got, let's go one more sequence. For those of you who haven't been to Change the Shed before, this work probably looks a little weird. It's a fringeless for salvage. It's not a fringeless warp, sorry. It is not fringeless. It is double set. All right, I think that's... So right now I'm weaving with 2 warps together at 8 ends per inch, and in just a few minutes I'm going to split those warps. And okay, great. That's ready. I'm going to split those warps and weave this little form at 16 EPI, and you all will be the first to see whether it's going to work. Of course it's going to work, but you'll be the first to see. Let's see, that's a hill thread. So I'm not going to stack that one up, but this is a valley, so I will, the valley turn right there. Having a little weft tension issue. I should have gotten another piece of weft ready. I'm using these 2 colors. One of my dogs is barking. I don't know if you can hear that. She says, "Let me in there." I really did not have a good understanding of Dachshund's personalities when we got these dogs, so they're something. Everything people say about Dachshunds is true. They're very smart and very stubborn. They're not like a Labrador at all. All right, just splicing in a new weft here. Okay, good. Thanks to those of you who think the camera is okay. As long as I don't lean too far forward. I was trying to get the height of the camera just in a place where you won't see my head all the time, but low enough that it doesn't look like the camera is on the ceiling. Anyway. It's unlikely I'll ever have a camera person, so we'll just do our best. All right, I'm just filling this in. There's another hill thread. I'm guessing on this angle, but it's fabric. Ooh, you know what? I am gonna do one more there. Pants are fabric, so don't have to be a straight angle. Oops. All right, I'm gonna leave that there for the moment. Now, actually, how have I done with my sheds here? Those two are on meet and separate, of course, but it actually is not gonna matter that much because I'm changing to 16 API and the shed will be different anyway. Now, I'm trying to remember back to the handbasket piece. You all probably remember this better than me, but this is Weaver's Bazaar. Fine. I think I only used one strand of this at 16 API on the handbasket piece, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to start with one and we'll just see. Janice, great question. Why did you stop on the valley turn? So here, hills and valleys, the valley will sink in. So if you stack up two valleys, the step is lower than if you stack up two hills. So a hill thread is, I don't know if you can see that, where the weft is going across the top. And this one under it is a valley where it's going behind. And I can stack up two valleys and have a shorter step than if I stacked up two hills. So here I stacked two valleys, but then just one hill. And that will make a smoother line than if I went two valleys, two hills, two valleys, two hills. Then I would have shorter step, higher step, shorter step, higher step. It's all kind of it depends on all the things. It depends on what weft you're using and what loom and what set and all of that. So, okay. So I don't have the 16 EPI shedded. So I'm going to use a shed stick and let's just give it a go. The first part is a little dicey. This is where you're probably going to end up seeing my head because I'm trying to see what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to get the warps spread out enough to weave them. I wonder if I'm going to work on this for a second. I could probably zoom that in. Hold on. Let me make the camera focus and stop shaking. All right, let's try that. You'll be able to see better than me. Sorry, that'll stop shaking in a second. So the camera is on an overhead boom, and yeah, it'll shake until it stops. So I don't know, some of you might remember when I was, I might try using this bobbin instead. When I was weaving the handbasket piece on this loom, I had a second shedding device, and it works well for one shed, but I found that it didn't work. Of the 4 sheds created with the 2 devices, the 4th shed was not good because the other shedding device got in the way. So I just decided not to put that second shedding device on this time, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think I could probably use 2 strands of this and it would weave a lot faster. Well, one of the things with the double set is that the edge of it, I like the, I'm going to go to 2 strands. I like the fuzzy yarn versus the really crisp Weaver's Bazaar. I chose Weaver's Bazaar on purpose because I wanted that really crisp worsted spun yarn. Take that out. Let's try 2 strands. Otherwise, this is going to take all day. Oh, Helen, great question. I understand how you're changing the picks per inch, but how are you changing the ends per inch? So I don't know if you can see, you should be able to see this in the close-up. See how here's 1 warp. When I was weaving at 8 ends per inch, this was 1 warp, but it's actually 2 warps. So all I'm doing for the 16 ends per inch section is splitting those 2 warps. All right, let's do exactly what I did before, but try it with 2 strands. And actually, I'm going to bring it up to here because my shed, if I don't, my shed will be wrong. I might regret that, but that's something I could pull out later if it looks super weird. Ooh, I kind of like using the tapestry bobbin this way. This weft isn't long enough for me to need to wrap the yarn on the tapestry bobbin, although I could. But this means I've got a nice little point to pack it in right in my hand. Those of you who use tapestry bobbins all the time know the benefit of that. All right, yeah, I'm gonna like this better. I'm gonna stick with 2. I'm gonna have to go back to the old Change the Sheds and see what I did on handbasket. It might be that I'll use 1 strand on other spots. depending on what's happening. There's a sock right here that has a daisy on it, which I may need to go to one strand just to make the fairly complicated design work out. Susan says shaking's fine as long as it's not caused by an earthquake. I'm not saying we never have an earthquake here, but it is unusual on the Colorado Plateau where I live. All right, I think that's gonna work. So I'm gonna put this tail on the back. So now you can see how those warps got spread out by the other set. Yeah, I definitely couldn't have 3 of these. This is right on the edge of covering with 2, but it's working. So if I had, and maybe this is what I'm thinking of on the handbasket piece, if I had 1 strand of the medium Weaver's Bazaar, I think that would be usable at 16 ends per inch. Huh. So now of course I'm not sure about the color. I love the pants color and I'm like, I don't know about this cuff. Oh, let's just keep going. Sometimes you don't know till you're all finished and it'll be fine. I want it, you know how sometimes like pants that have patterns in them will have like a lining on the cuff that's like a different color or something, or pattern. That's what I was thinking of. But all right, now is that really packing in how I want it to? I think so. Try not to get my head in the... Yeah, I think that's gonna look okay. It looks different than handbasket though, so I don't know what I did. Don't know what I did all those years ago. Of course, we could all go back and watch those change the sheds if we really wanted to. The subject matter is, again, appropriate. That piece was about going to hell in a handbasket. Again, tongue in cheek, or maybe not. Having a bit of a rough patch in America, y'all. Just a bit of a rough patch. And it's spilling over to the rest of you. Okay. All right, I'm reasonably happy with this. That's good. Yeah, Sally, that's what I was trying to say earlier and didn't say it very well. The contrast between the fuzzy yarn and the smooth Weaver's Bazaar yarn is what I'm going for. And so there will be more 16 EPI in this boot. And then there's a whole section up higher where there's flames and stuff that I'm going to do at 16 EPI with Weaver's Bazaar. So I think I might even use some of the Weaver's Bazaar silk. Is really nice. I might mix some of that in. So that is the contrast there between, I'm still not saying out of my mouth what I'm thinking. The contrast there between the smooth and the fuzzy yarn is fun. It's a texture change. And it also, the interface between the fuzzy Harrisville Kohler singles and the Weaver's Bazaar. So I'm going from 2 warps to 1 warp. And so there's a little section there where the shedding is wrong on every single pick. And so because this is so fuzzy, it just covers that up. I think it would work with most yarns, but I think this Kohler singles is particularly forgiving in this instance. Okay, let's do 1 more there. And then maybe in a second here, I'll fill in some of this brown. And I think, let me look at my cartoon behind here. Yeah, there's a tiny piece of leg right there and then a sock. So that'll be an interesting to try to do a daisy on a sock that's only tiny. The daisy pattern was something from the other pieces in this series, so I wanted to put it in here somewhere. And the sock one. Okay, so let's fill this in a second. So now you'll be able to see the interface here. And how I have to go back to doubling those warps when I'm working at 8 ends per inch. I need to put in right here, there's a piece of road that I haven't started yet. Maybe we'll do that a different day. Okay, so right here, I want to go back to using these 2 warps as 1 warp. So I have to grab them both. There are instances where I will split, even with the Harrisville Kohler singles, I'll split the warp. Like, I think I did this in Handbasket when I was weaving letters. Often I would, even with the thicker yarn, I would split the 2 warps, which gives you a nice little bit of detail. Sarah Sweat does that a lot in the fringeless class, which also is a technique with doubled warps, which is very handy if you're weaving letters. Sarah being the master of letters. Okay, so there, I think you get an idea of how that's going to cover that up. Ooh, I think that's going to look okay. Probably, I don't know, maybe I would have brought that out a little bit. I think at the top I'll bring the, yeah, I have drawn it that way. I'll bring the cuff up a little higher so it looks like it's folded. Here I might split that. I didn't grab both warps there. And I need another. So for this bottom color, I'm using 2 of this bright copper color and 1 brown. This is actually faro. I don't have a, it's a little bit shinier. I don't know that you probably can't see that because it's not focusing, but the faro has spell sow in it. It's a different sheet braid. And it is shinier than the Harrisville Kohler singles, which is, I think, mostly Rambouillet, maybe some merino. Those of you who are spinners, that makes some sense, I'm sure. All right. 2 of the copper faro and 1 of the brown Harrisville Kohler singles. Sorry, I keep doing that. Janice is asking if I'm going to do a class on weaving letters. Potentially. That is in the works. That is one of those not sure yet things, but it has been in talks. As you can imagine, I will be looking for a colleague on that class, and you could guess who it will be. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned on that. Keep asking, Janice. Good chance. But it takes a long time to make a class, so you may have to wait another little bit. All right, so now I'm going to grab both. Here I actually split those two. Now I'm going to grab them both. Yeah, that's going to work. Yeah, I think a class on weaving letters would be so fun. I will team teach it. The way that I have woven letters, you saw that in the handbasket piece. I'm just and I'll do it in this piece too. I'm by the seat of my pants. I'm just following it. It's just shapes, following it like a cartoon. Whereas Sarah Sweat is much more, she has a formula for letters, and that makes them look just gorgeous. So I imagine we would make a class that employed both of those. I'm running out of yarn here. Oh, you guys almost can't see that, can you? All right, 11:07. I'm not going to get into this boot. Today. Sorry about the shaking. Not an earthquake. Oh, where does that leg come in? Let's look at the cartoon. Yeah, right there. Okay, good thing I checked that. So I'm going to back this back out. And then I'm going to split this again. By split, I mean I'm actually splitting instead of taking the 2 warps, I'm just taking 1, even with the thicker yarn. That's a good question, Anne. Anne asked, can eccentric weaving be done steeper with 16 EPI than is possible with 8? I don't think so. I think the physics of it is still the same, but I don't have a real answer on that, Anne. Perhaps I shall get a chance. I know I will. Up in the, so oh, you can't see that. There's some flames at the top of this tapestry, which could benefit from some eccentric outlining, like with silk that I was mentioning. So I suspect I will test that on this piece. All right, let's fill in. Can you see that? Yeah, let's fill in. The toe of the boot comes right there. And this piece is, so there's a slit here all the way up for the border. And then this piece is a piece of road. So I just want to fill this in, partly to remind myself not to weave right over this cartoon. when I come back to this again. You think you'll remember what you're doing next time you sit down, but if you know you're going to be out of pocket or not working on it for a few days, it's best to make yourself a note or leave the weaving in a place where it's obvious. Oh yeah, there's a thing that goes there. Okay. Let's, what time is it? 11:10. I'm going to bring this one over, but I'm going to need to continue the hatching with that. So one more piece of this other color, so that I don't want this all to be filled in just with the brown. I want to continue the hatching I had there. Not sure people would notice, but I would notice. All right. I'm just going to keep my shedding correct for this section and realizing that this toe will be at 16 EPI, which is a complete shedding change anyway, so it doesn't matter that the shedding is going to be wrong. Actually, it would work if this were filled in at EPI. It would work because I would add 2 butterflies, one here and one in the toe. So it would not be a bad thing either way. This little boot has laces on it, and that should be interesting to weave. I'm curious. Where are my boot colors? Did I change them? Yeah, I did change the boot colors. So the toe and the heel, I'm going to do with this dark color so that'll stand out against the browns. And then the body here, I'll use red brown. And then the laces, I haven't. Oh, you can't see that. I'm so sorry. Okay, so here's the dark toe. Here's the boot part. And then I have an empty hole there. That's the lace color. Haven't decided yet. Susan, a letters class. Yes. I'll continue to work on making that happen. But no promises, because you never know what happens in life. Good chance, though. All right. So let's think about what I'm going to do next time. Probably put in the boot. So I have to fill this in and then I can put the boot in. I'll finish the pants. And this is the area where there's a little sock with a white flower in it. Little piece of leg. And then, let's see, this cloud comes up. You see that? Yeah. These are burned trees and there's some brown in the background. So I will get that started and then you can see that. And the mountains you cannot see in this view. So, so far, fun tapestry. I think we'll keep going. I hope that y'all are having a good spring, and I get to see you again on April 30 is when I will be back for Change the Shed. And we'll see how far I am on this. There's a couple things happening, which I will give you a trip report on between now and then, but hopefully I will get some of these mountains started so we can work on that next time, or maybe the boot. That would be fun. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming to Change the Shed. And if you would love to join my Patreon, you can join Patreon for free. You don't have to be a paid member. And then you'll get to see the show notes, which is I'm putting when I have links about stuff we've talked about. I'll put those in the show notes on Patreon. And then there's other levels with more behind the scenes stuff too. This is Beaumont. He wanted to say hello. And this is the one who you might have heard barking earlier. This is Sally. She says, I'm a dapple. There they are. Troublemakers, everyone. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming. I will see you in 3 weeks on April 30th. Go weave something, and I'll catch you in a few weeks. Bye-bye.